Right, let's look at replies for the month of March. From the February comments, somebody rose to the challenge of the Tokipona joke. Yana li mute li toki. Lana number one li toki ni. Mama mi e mi li wawa. Ona li yan sona. Yan mute li sona e ona. Yana li number two li toki ni. Mama sina li wawa ala. Taso mama mi e mi li wawa a. Ona li yan utala. Yan mute li utala e ona. Taso mama mi li moli ala. Yan lili nampa mute li pana e telo oko. Yan lili ante li toki ni. Sina pana telo oko tan seme. Mama sina li moli anu seme. Yan lili nampa mute li toki ni. Mama mi e mi li moli ala. Ona li wawa keen. Taso. Mama mi li wawa ala. Ona li yan moku. Taso yan ala li moku e ona. Solid joke. Good structure. Only works in Tokipona. A+. A+. Tokipona is an instrument, maybe a pentatonic flute or some sort of drum. Really basic, but you can make it sound cool if you become good at it. Yeah, I think before I was saying a kazoo was my guess. I don't know enough about music to really be able to say, but doing a lot with a very kind of simple set of tools. Jan Keitami says, of course commentators are going to point out the April Fool's joke for 2021 where N as a subject marker jokingly made Tokipona word order flexible. Of course, it doesn't really work once you add la, prepositions of multiple li and e. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it would work for a second. I know April Fool's jokes have stuck before, but this one just doesn't seem possible. By missing the common idiom, it's actually much closer to many learners. A tomotawa could be a train station, a trailer park, an airport, a lift, a car, a gym, and so many other things. Yes, I actually agree. Using tomotawa in a literal way is in fact more correct than treating tomotawa as exclusively meaning a vehicle. However, if someone asks you what tomotawa means and you don't even mention vehicle as a possibility, like I said, it wasn't wrong. It just gave a very narrow answer. Insert Jan Kekan-san's video about lone e. I'm not sure if I've seen that one, so I'm actually going to write that down and take a look at it later, because that sounds interesting. I might do that to play around with the language, but it is strange. We might translate it as, when I am going to last for a long time, do I truly drink water when I drink? Yeah, so this is the mimoku, alamoku, la idea. Yeah, as you say, no one's probably going to get that without context. It helps understand that LLMs like ChatGPT are based in statistics. It has no understanding. It has no concept of reality. It doesn't even understand what the words mean. It produces text that statistically is likely to be a response to similar stuff in its database. For something like Tokipona, there's very little data to build good statistics from, so it will just inherently be shit at it. It's also unable to say when it doesn't know something. It makes things up because it's matching the shape of a likely response and filling in whatever it thinks is likely. Yeah, so the way people kind of often explain ChatGPT is that it's a very advanced form of autocorrect on your phone that finishes sentences for you or suggests the next word in a sentence based on what's already there. It would be very interesting to know the size of the Tokipona dataset used to train ChatGPT. I've noticed it's quite worse at French than English despite the huge corpus, so it's no surprise it's bad at Tokipona. Yeah, it's interesting. I For what it's worth, I tried asking ChatGPT how much Tokipona data went into its data set, and it just said it scraped the data from public social media posts and things like that, which, you know, doesn't really mean much. ChatGPT is wrong all the time, but that kind of stacks with what I would have expected, that basically any posts in Tokipona on like the Tokipona forums, on Reddit, on Facebook are public comments. So they were all basically scraped into the language model. That would be my educated guess. It is possible that the story at 540, though not much of a story, is referring to a planet, Masike, in a solar system, Masuno, in a galaxy or universe, Masewi. So it's simply being more specific each time. This is the first person to point this out. This is from that story ChatGPT wrote in Tokipona where you had a Tomo and then it added P Matomo, then it added Lo Masike, then it added P Masuno, then finally added P. Mas Sewi. This is the first person to point out, not the last, that Masike is probably a planet, solar system is Masuno, and then Masewi would be a galaxy or a universe. That makes a lot of sense to me. Doesn't make the story make sense, but that translation, yeah, good catch. I tried to teach a Tokipona by entering a Tokipona cheat sheet with all grammar and words. It worked a bit better, but was still a bit weird. If only it was as simple as telling it and it learns, but doesn't seem to be. Are you only archiving books? Because I know Tokipona is an official language category on AO3 and there's actually quite a few stories on there. This was news to me. AO3 refers to Archive of Our Own, which is like a fan fiction website. Yeah, I had no idea there was Tokipona on that. I had a look. There's quite a few. They're getting archived into the library. There's some very spicy stories in there. I don't even want to get into it, but there are some eyebrow-raising titles in the Tokipona section, which are going to be very interesting to have floating around in the Tokipona library. So I don't know if I need to add a 18 plus tag now. Mi olin is sona sin sina palipona. Sina pona. Mi olin a palisina. Oh, people are making friends in the comments. Ilo li ken ala toki e Tokipona. Ona li ken toki e toki ike taso. Mi pilin sama. Mi pilin sama suli. Ona li ken ala toki Tokipona. Kiwan pin konmun li lon la yan e kiwan ni li wile. Tanseme la kiwan pi konmun la mani mute. Yan mute li wile esun e ona. Ona li wile esun la ona li pana e mani mute tawa yo e ona. Ni li lon. Tempo ale la mi tawa ala e ma mataton. Taso mi ken tawa la yan pi Tokipona li lon mani. Lon. Yan mute li lon mani. Ona li pali pona mute. Ni li pona. Mi yan sona li toki kepikun Tokipona lon tempo sin. Sitalin sina lon sitalin pi alupu asa inselesin. Li pona tawa mi. Ni li Tokipona mute. Sina pona. Have you showcased Maseka? I was only really introduced by this comment, but Maseka is a Tokipona PeerTube server. I see there's a lot of Tokipona YouTubers contributing to this, so I'll let people know if I do anything with it, but very interesting on first look. A house of the city of the planet of the solar system of the galaxy. Not saying it's right, but saying it's probably what the AI is thinking. Yep, quite a few people agree with you. Basically, ChatGPT offers an Esperanto to teach the OP other languages, most notably English, which actually contributes. If you remember in the ChatGPT video, I said it seems like the bot is being passive-aggressive at the person speaking Tokipona and deliberately sticking to Esperanto. So the fact that it's offering to teach them other languages, including English, reinforces the passive aggression. I think that's very funny. Jan Polian. Awesome news as you always do. By the way, is it some form of pronoun part of speech dropping at 24? Unusual grammar. I'm going to guess immediately that this is just me making a mistake. Oh yeah, so it's not me making a mistake, at least not an accidental mistake. So what I'm saying is Yansona li pali e tomo tawa telo tawa ni tawa e sawli ni tawa mapona. So by tawa e sawli ni tawa mapona is like to move this animal to a better place, basically. So yeah, I suppose it is unusual grammar and it is me dropping a pronoun because I suppose I'm trying to use like the verb stem or like the, I don't know what you call it, the infinitive version of the verb or something. Just, tawa e sawli, as in the moving of the animal. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm far from a grammar or linguistics knower, so yeah, I think that's just me being wrong. But I thought that was okay to do. One thing I noticed is you keep pronouncing Ocelia with the emphasis. Yeah. So I kept saying Ocelia, but the first syllable should be the one with emphasis. So I should say Ocelia. because I was thinking of Australia and carrying over that emphasis. Thanks for sharing the instance. I could definitely recognize a group of signups after this video. Good. That's what I'm trying to promote here. Getting people on less toxic social media platforms than Twitter. Mi ECP na ni. Ken la soli suli li soli pi palisa suli. Ona ken. Nili nimi muzi. There's definitely a context somewhere where that would be the best thing to use. Nili ponamute. Sina ponamute. Ma oselia li selila nili ikea. Mi pilin sama. I like to think that in an ideal world, linguistically speaking, Toki Pona would be the first language taught to kids as a community/interpersonal language. Then when they start their education, they also learn whatever their national or regional language is. And after that, if you want to travel or work internationally, like in politics or diplomacy or science or such, you learn an IAL like Esperanto was meant to be. So that way everyone is trilingual and everyone has at least Toki Pona to fall back on. Especially since it's a good starter language, as I like to call it. It is certainly not a learn-in-a-day language, though. Yeah, I kind of mentioned this in the reacting to Half as Interesting video, that learning Toki Pona in a day, not really realistic. There's plenty of parts of the world where growing up bi and trilingual is just what everybody does, completely normal. And there's some research that growing up fluent in multiple languages is actually good for you from a health point of view, because it gets into that neuroplasticity, that you're practicing your brain's ability to adapt to these different ways of communicating, that reduces the risk of certain neurological disorders as you age. Also, in case nobody noticed, we hit 1,000 subscribers this week. It's a big milestone and it's taken years to get there. When was the first video? Let me put this into perspective here. Right, my first video was 9th of November 2018. Over 4 years. Which really helps me appreciate milestones like this. You know, this is sweet. And everyone watching this helped me get to this point. So I'm calling this a win for the team. Good job, everybody. Nili Pini, Otawa Pona Yan, Pona O.